everybody, and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about my trip to Scotland, the hectic journey with lots of different things that went quite wrong, and also seeing baby donkeys. But before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Redpost. Redpost is an equestrian and country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. And if you've been listening to the last couple of podcast episodes, you will know that this week it's Black Friday week. So when this podcast comes out, it is the weekend after Black Friday. And you know what? There are still going to be good deals. And do you know where you can get those deals? Redpost Equestrian. So go to their website. This is like the weekend to get all of your Christmas shopping done while the good deals last. And then when December rolls around, you're all prepared. So go to redpostequestrian.co.uk. Anyway, let's get into today's podcast episode, because I was going to say last week, it was last week. it was less than a week ago though. I have been to Scotland and back, so that was really good fun. But oh my goodness, the journey there was hairy. The journey back was hairy. It was a wild ride. But anyway, let's get into it. So we were going up to Scotland for the weekend. Also, first off, so many people were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you flew to Scotland. You should have just driven, that kind of thing. Guys, just putting it out there, I live in the south of England. I don't like to disclose where I live because there are some weirdos out there, but I live in the south of England. It would have taken me basically a 20-hour round trip to go there. No, more than that. More than 20. Okay, well, it would have literally taken like 24 hours for us to drive up there because the UK roads are not great. We live so far away. I tell you what, it's closer for me to drive to Germany. Like when we go to Aachen, when we go to the horse show there, we drive because it's faster to drive. Getting to Scotland, and we went to Aberdeenshire, that's not even, like, it's past Edinburgh. It's even further north, like it is far away. Anyway, so we decided in the end to fly. That was going to be the easiest option because if not, me and my dad, we would literally have to drive through the night to get there, and that wouldn't be very fun. Also, I'm pretty sure like the amount of money that we would have cost in petrol, toll roads, all that kind of stuff, it would have been way cheap to fly. Anyway, so we flew. I do try to drive where I can. As I said before, when we go to Aachen, we drive in the electric car. Anyway, we flew to Scotland, got to the airport. Normally, with morning flights, I don't get as nervous about flights being cancelled. Evening flights, I feel like whenever I've had a flight be cancelled before, it's always been an evening flight. And I think that's a lot of the time. Like if it's the evening, everyone's kind of gone from the airport. It's the last kind of flights that are going. If, for example, like the captain can't come or they don't have enough crew or the plane's broken, they're just like, we're all going to go to bed. We'll just sort it in the morning. So because it was a morning flight, I was like, okay, hopefully, like if it gets cancelled, we'll just get rescheduled for the afternoon or the evening. It'll be fine. So I felt a little bit better about that. But we were waiting at our gate, ready to get on our plane, that kind of thing. And we overheard the walkie-talkie from one of the staff at the airport. And it was saying how basically, we were in the North Terminal at Gatwick, and it was saying how in the South Terminal, the whole thing had to be evacuated. And we were just like, what is going on? So all of us in our queue looked very scared, looking at each other. Then quickly, everyone just went straight onto their phones, went on to like search, like what's happening, anyway. So apparently, yeah, in the South Terminal, I have to be family friendly on the podcast. I also don't want to go against any community guidelines, but there was something suspicious in a suitcase. But luckily, you know, in today's society, we have all of the things, we have sniffer dogs, we have all of the x-ray machines, and it can seem like a faff sometimes when you go through airport security, but it's there to keep everybody safe. And it's good that we still have it because they managed to find what was in the suitcase that was putting people in danger, and they managed to sort it all out. Everyone was safe, everyone was evacuated, and that's the main thing, that everyone was safe. But anyway, so we were just there like, what is going on? And I kind of turned around to Dad and I was like, this is your fault. It's like, what do you mean this is my fault? Because for ages, Dad has been saying we need to do a road trip with my 4x4 because my dad likes my car. He's a car guy. We're a car family. But anyway, he was like, we need to do a road trip. Like, how fun would that be? And I was like, we're gonna have to drive all the way up to Scotland. I was like, Dad, you have manifested this. Anyway, in like a jokey kind of way. And we were like trying to calculate like what time the next day we would be arriving and all that kind of stuff. Like if we were to drive and how we get there in time. And there was like loads of snow up there as well. So some places might have been closed because of the snow. And we were like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna get there? So anyway, luckily the crew arrived. They were a little bit delayed because of everything happening, which I cannot complain. The main thing is that everyone is kept safe. Anyway, got our flight. That was all good. Made it. And as soon as we got our hire car, also, when we went to get our hire car in Aberdeenshire, it was so snowy. And as Southerners, although I do have Northern family, so, you know, I'm Northern in my heart, but not really. But as Southerners, we are not used to the snow as much. I felt like the whole country got snow, and we had, like, it snowed, but none of it landed. It was, like, pathetic. If you were going to say the snow was like something, it was honestly like a little bit dandruff. That was it. So anyway, we arrived and we were like, oh, I was glad I had all my knit jumpers and things because it was a little bit chillier. But we were like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. This is gorgeous. That part of the world in Scotland is just, we were kind of near the Dee River, I think it is. But that part of Scotland, or just Scotland in general, it is so beautiful up there. Every time I go there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could so see myself living here because it is like the countryside, but mega. Like, we have the countryside here, but, you know, after a bit of a drive, you're going to find a town. Like, this felt like you could drive for ages, and it would just be woodland, and fields, and rivers, and mountains, and just beautiful. Anyway, so we were, like, in our little, our hire car that we got. They were like, okay, so this is your car, a Fiat 500, which, no hate towards Fiat 500s, because I did used to have one. That was my first car. Her name was Frida. She was third hand, and every time I started her up, her back windscreen wipers would go. She did her job, but she did cost more than what I paid for her in my last MOT that I had done. So we were like, okay, Frida, you've had your time. We need to say goodbye now. I was like, okay, it's time to get a car that's not going to cost me so much each year when I have my MOT done. Anyway, so that's what happened to Frida. Don't know if I'd recommend them as a car or not. Anyway, maybe it's because mine was third hand and really old. But anyway, moving on. So as you guys know, Fiat 500s aren't the most big. You don't really think snow. You think maybe little Italian cobbled street. You don't think icy road, off-track vehicle. So the guy was like, we can upgrade you to a bigger car for a lot more money. And Dad and I were like, we'll be fine. We'll take the Fiat 500. It'll be good. Anyway, so we're bumping along a little Fiat 500 and in the snow. And tell you what, I mean, my dad likes to show off. Every time he is like, oh, you're not doing that right. You're not doing that right. And I'm like, don't tell me what to do. He's like, I have done all of these driving certificates, off-road driving, race car driving. Like, he likes to show off with all these things that he's done. So he's like, Ez, you're in safe hands. I've done all these like driving degree passes, whatever. I know how to drive on snow. I know how to, I'm like, okay, we'll take the Fiat 500 then. So we arrived. We managed to get there just before it got dark. So we were going to World Horse Welfare to do some filming for them because they had some baby donkeys. And we were like, oh my goodness, we need to go and see the baby donkeys. But also, it's a really good time to promote World Horse Welfare. They're an incredible charity. As you guys know, our pony Duke is from there. And this time of year, we were trying to shout about them as much as possible because if you're thinking of getting your friends and family a Christmas present, or if you don't know what you want for Christmas, ask for a donation to World Horse Welfare. That's what I'm going to ask my friends and family because they are an incredible charity. And also, it was just Christmas.com having snow, baby donkeys. What more could you want? It was so pretty. And of course, the baby donkeys were absolutely adorable. So I have done a vloggy vlog on my channel if you would like to see the baby donkeys, if you'd like to see a bit more of the chaos of the journey, but I will describe it to you the best I can. I haven't even told you about the journey back yet as well. Okay, sorry, we'll get onto that in a little bit. So we were filming with the baby donkeys. They were really cute. It was the one thing that I always find weird going to World Horse Welfare is obviously I'm so used to my horses where as soon as they see humans, they are like, hello, you are the food person. Hello, I want attention. I want scratchies. I want food. I'm going to be right up in your face. I mean, that's especially Joey. Actually, no, that's definitely all of them. But anyway, so whenever I go there, it always like kind of like really hits me because a lot of the time, or especially it depends on the cases, it depends how long horses or equines have been there. But when horses or equines don't just immediately want to run to you and have scratchies and treats, it's like, oh my gosh, it's kind of sad thinking about maybe what they've been through. But anyway, back to the positives. The baby donkeys were very, very cute. And the baby donkeys, they were born, I'm pretty sure, at World Horse Welfare. So they have had a brilliant life from the start. They've had the best care from World Horse Welfare. So they loved humans. So the mums were a little bit more cautious at first meeting new people. But the babies were all over me. They were sniffing me. They were wanting scratchies. So they had one called Popcorn, one called Peanut. Popcorn is the younger one. She was only 2 months old. And oh my goodness, she reminds me so much of our poor donkey Willow that unfortunately we did lose this year. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is Willow reincarnated. Honestly, like, it was the same colour, had patches like her as well. So cute, such a sweet temperament as well. So many of you guys were like, oh my gosh, Esme, you should adopt the baby donkeys. I'm just gonna put it out there now, they're not ready to be adopted or rehomed yet. That's all I'm gonna say anyway. But I think Scotland would be quite a long journey for them. But anyway, moving on. Baby donkeys, cute. I also did a meet and greet up there as well. So thank you to everybody who came along. You were all so lovely. Especially as like the weather that day, like with the snow and everything, it was a lot. There were some people that drove five hours to come. There were some people that flew over from like Lapland, I'm pretty sure. So that is dedication. So thank you for coming. You're all so lovely. And then after that, we had our journey back that I'll get onto. So Dad and I were like, okay, what flight should we do? Because we needed to get home for the Sunday, because on Sunday my mom has to look after the horses, and we'll go and rescue her. We'll get back home early so we can muck out the horses. She doesn't have to worry about that. Turn them out, ride them, that kind of thing. My mom is not horsey, we didn't know. Anyway, so we woke up at 4 a.m. This was before the sun had risen. People were still out in Aberdeen from the night before, so that was interesting. And also, we were so lucky because the car park that we were going to park in, we didn't realise that it was basically locked until like 8 a.m. in the morning, and our flight would have been and gone by then. So we were very, very lucky that that car park was full. So we parked in a different one, which was a 24-hour car park. So a little tip, if you ever have an early flight, make sure that you park in a 24-hour car park, because if not, your car will be locked overnight in there. Anyway, so our flight was at 6 a.m. I think I landed on the Sunday morning in England before my friends had even woken up on their Sunday morning line. So that was quite funny. So it's a little bit horrible because you have to wake up so early, but then it does feel like you have a whole extra day at home. So I mean, that was nice. We had a nice little family Sunday roast, so that was really nice. My brother was back from uni. He's not at uni anymore. He's got a proper job, apartment and everything. He's a big boy. Anyway, he is my younger brother, so I do take the mick out of him. But anyway, so that was really lovely. But yeah, on our plane journey home, our plane journey home. So there was a bit of a storm. It was so windy. And I just want to put it out there. If you're scared of planes, or scared of plane journeys, don't worry. I'm not going to traumatize you, because this is one thing. Like I was telling my friends this story, and they were like, "How did you not cry?" I would have cried if this happened to me. But my granddad used to be a pilot, and he has flown so many more times. It's also so much safer to be in a plane than in a car. Like, you're more likely to end up in a car accident anyway. But like when it comes to like turbulence and things, when it drops, the way I was taught it is, if you can imagine like a plane being in jelly, you can wobble it as much as you want, up and down, that kind of thing, but it's still stuck. Like, because of the air pressure, it's not just going to suddenly fall out of the sky because it's stuck in like the air pressure jelly. But also They have so many detectors and radars and everything on the plane. So our pilot obviously was checking the wind, making sure that it was safe to land. So we managed to land. Was it a little bit bumpy? Yes. Was there one point where it felt like we were literally landing sideways and the wing was going to land into the ground before us? Yes. But was our pilot a legend? Yes, he was. And we landed fine. It wasn't actually as bumpy as I was expecting. It was just a little wobbly when we were landing. We did see the plane behind us do a false landing, which is where the plane kind of lands and then it takes off again. But you know what? That was the thing to do. Because I was talking to my granddad about this, because I was telling him all about it, because it was literally, saw him straight afterwards. And he was saying, so what would have happened is the plane was landing, and then they'll be checking the wind detectors, and then there would have been like a gust of wind, and then it would have been like, nope, it's gone too high on the levels, just go up again, do a little circle, land again when it's less windy. So there we go. There are lots of procedures in place. I tell you what, it takes a long time to be a pilot, and all the tests that you have to pass and that kind of thing. Like I thought it was hard enough trying to pass your driving test. Like, goodness, all the things you had to learn for that and the stress of doing the test. Anyway, so yeah, we landed safely. Everyone was safe. Everyone was happy. Got home on time. Everyone's safe, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, that was our hairy journey there and back to Scotland. But honestly, it's so beautiful up there. It was a lot colder than last time I went. Everyone that I was talking to, they were like, I promise it's not always this snowy and this cold and this rainy. I mean, like, last time I did go was in August last year. So, oh my gosh, that whenever I say stuff like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that we have been doing the podcast for quite a while, because I would have talked about that journey, because that's the only time which was also going to Aberdeen, where we had a like false landing. But there we go. Luckily, we didn't have that this time. It was all good. So yeah. Also, one thing I do find really weird about getting a plane to, like, Scotland, same as when we went to Northern Ireland, is that you don't have to show your passport. Like, you don't need a passport because you're travelling within a country, which I just find that's like getting the train. It is kind of like mind-boggling when you think about it. Anyway, tell you what, talking about planes, I don't know how interesting this is going to be for people. Maybe for people younger than me, it will be interesting. But I was watching a program the other day that had a plane in, and it was like it was a period drama, and it made me. Every time I hear about Concorde, it honestly blows my mind. If you don't know what Concorde is, it was a plane. I'm pretty sure, like, back in the 80s. I'm pretty sure it was closed in 2003. So literally, like, just after I was born, because I'm a 2001 baby. Anyway, so it was a plane that would fly from London to New York within 3 hours. What on earth? What on earth? That blows my mind. It's like, it would be like having, I don't know, it'd be like suddenly us going, oh, you know what, the internet, let's just not have that exist anymore. It's like this technology that's mental. Like, I just can't imagine going to New York for the day. Like, I mean, I understand why they closed it down, because it was so expensive and only like really rich people went on it anyway. So it's a bit like having private jet, that kind of thing. But also for the environment, not that great. Fuel efficiency, not that great. All that kind of, like, I understand why it doesn't exist anymore. But I do find it mental how it's just, it would be like, yeah, the internet just something going. I mean, the internet is something that not everyone, but a lot of people access. And I guess that was more of a thing for the only kind of like elite rich going on Concorde, but still, it's one of those things that I forget about, and then it just clicks in my brain and I think about it for some reason. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is wild. So there we go. That, if you didn't know that was a thing, now you know, to my younger generation, because I didn't really know much about it. I tell you what, when I watched this program, I was like, went straight onto my phone. I was doing all the Google searches, like how much it would have cost to go on it. Like, I don't know, I just get really nerdy about things like that. I'm like, okay, I'm so interested in this. I'm invested. I need to know everything. So there we go. Next, I thought I would give you a bit of an update on the horses, because I feel like I haven't done that in a while. I've been here, there and everywhere talking about all of my adventures that the main stars of the show feel like I need to update you on. So Joey and Casper and Mickey and Duke, they're all doing very well. They're all living their best lives. Thought, whose update should I do first? I thought I'd do Joey's update first, because now we're coming to the end of November. it is soon going to be time to give Joey his winter haircut. So recently I've been keeping his coat long. He's been a little bit of a hairy McClary at the moment, but that is because I always find he gets a little bit more, I don't want to say spicy, but he's a little bit more excited about life when I clip him. And because, especially where we are, fireworks are a really big thing, and I'm a bit traumatized because last time I clipped Joey was also a weekend that some neighbours decided to have some fireworks and not tell us, and that was also the weekend that Joey had his injury and he ended up in hospital for 3 weeks. So I'm just like, I'm not going to clip Joey until December, until hopefully all the fireworks are done. So I'm thinking about hopefully clipping him sometime in the next couple of weeks, so that'll be good fun, because at the moment, like, when I do ride him, he is getting to be a sweaty boy. But oh my goodness, the other day, it was the cutest thing. He was lying down, fully asleep in his paddock. It was one of those days where we just had so much rain, so much wind, and then it was just a lovely day where it was still outside, it was sunny, and all of the horses recently have just been sunbathing anyway, so I went down and I sat down / laid down with him, and oh my gosh, it was the cutest thing. Just be careful if you do that with a horse, because if obviously horses are flight animals, and if they spook at something, they're going to quickly leap up, they're going to quickly run away. You don't want to get trampled in the process. So if you do that, make sure you keep some distance, and you make sure that you can quickly get up and get out the way quickly. But anyway, so that was very cute. We had a bit of a cuddle, we had some scratchies, and he loved it. And to be able to lie down or like sit down, or like a horse, just for a horse to lie down, it is a lovely feeling. I remember when Joey first had his first night with us. It was his first night away from home. He'd never been anywhere else apart from the people that bred him. And I remember the next day seeing that he had like shavings in his tail, and I was like, oh my gosh, it meant that he had laid down overnight. And for a horse to do that, like, it's quite a vulnerable position if you think about it, horses being prey animals. For them to lie down, it means that they feel safe, they trust where they are, because obviously you're not going to lie down if you feel like you're in danger, because you want to skedaddle, you want to zoom out. Anyway, so that was really nice that I got to kind of lie down with him. He obviously feels very safe and very comfortable. Mickey, I tell you what, he loves a snooze, that boy. Maybe it's because he's an old man. Actually, no, I think Mickey has always liked to snooze. The only thing is, when Mickey sleeps, he does look like he's not with us anymore. He looks like he's in a different world. And I'm like, I remember the first time I saw him do that, I was like, oh my gosh, he's gone. I was like running up to him, and then he popped his head up with his like tongue hanging out. Like, what do you mean? I'm half asleep. Why are you disturbing my rest? So that's quite funny. Even Duke doesn't really lie down that much. He does like at bedtime when he goes to sleep, but he's just not really a lying down kind of horse. He's more of a let's play, let's run round, let's have fun sort of horse, if you know what I mean. And then Casper, he has his little corner, he has his bedtime corner in his paddock where you know he's asleep, because he goes to this one corner, and that's where he kind of like, you know, when horses, when they kind of like nod off a little bit and then they like kind of pop their head back up and then nod off again, that's what Casper does when he sleeps. Casper has also been doing this thing where he won't go down and eat his haylage unless Joey is eating his haylage next to him. So normally in the horses' paddocks, because at the moment their fields are just mud, they don't have much grass, but we hang up little haylage nets on the fences for them. Casper sometimes gets a little bit scared of his breakfast or his haylage because it's near the field and we get quite a lot of deer, so every now and again he can see deer in the woods and he's like, oh my gosh, they're coming to get me, I don't know what it is, I'm gonna be eaten by monsters. So Casper's I mean, it's keeping him skinny, which is great, because normally this horse is a bit of a good doer. Like he can have quite a round behind. Anyway, poor Casper, that sounds really mean. I mean, I've got quite a round behind as well. But anyway, he gets scared of his breakfast. So if Joey's not down there, he plays this game where he likes to run away and then run back and then run away and then run back to his food. So he's been doing that a lot lately. He's been keeping himself fit, which is good. But apart from that, no, all of the horses are well. I've got to film riding days tomorrow, which I can't lie, I'm very nervous for, because we're also having some new fencing putting in at the moment, because I was supposed to do that today, but I was like, Casper hates tractors, and we have a tractor in our field right now doing the new fencing, so I was like, I am not going to be riding Casper tackless while there is a tractor within the premises, because I will be eating sand. It will not be good. I will be not just dismounting with style, I will be flung into a different universe. So anyway, there we go. That's tomorrow, when hopefully the tractor will be gone. All will be well. Hopefully the weather clears up, because it might be rainy tomorrow, so I really hope it's not rainy, because riding Des in the rain does not sound fun. Although, no, I don't think it's going to be better in the rain. I was really trying to think of a positive spin there, but no, I don't think that will be the case. Also, the other day, because it was so windy, Casper, because his body is kind of built like a sausage dog. I think that's the best way to kind of talk about his conformation, because he has like normal sized legs, normal sized neck, normal sized head. Like, he is a Connemara pony, but he's an overgrown Connemara pony, if that makes sense. But his body is so long compared to the rest of him. It often surprises people, because Casper's 14'3", 15 hands. He's 14'3" without shoes, 15 hands with shoes. That's the best way to describe him. When Joey, I'd say, is about 16'1"-ish. So there's quite a big difference in size. They're very different to ride. Like, Casper's very compact, feels very pony-like. I mean, his breed technically is a pony, even though he's an overgrown pony. I'll let you decide in the comments and fight about it, because some people are like, if he's over 14'2", then he's a horse, he's not a pony. And then people are like, well, if he's a Connemara and he's a purebred Connemara, then he's a pony. So anyway, there we go. Casper, he's a big boy. Anyway, his body is the exact same size as Joey's body. That is how long Casper is. He is like, yeah, a dachshund horse. Anyway, so if you want to know, if you're weird and, I don't know, just want to know what size their rugs are, they both wear 6'3" rugs. So there we go. But because Casper has quite a long body and a normal sized neck, often his like neck attachment on his rug is a little bit too long. I mean, I probably could ask Lemure to very kindly send me like a smaller neck attachment. I'm sure they could do that, but it keeps him warm. He doesn't mind. It doesn't bother him. Like, it's one of those things where it's like just a little, it's not too big, it's just like a little bit too big. But when the wind blows the wrong way, or maybe he's rolled, like he had a roll the other day, oh my gosh, I find it so funny. It is so cute. It looks like, I don't know how to describe it, but when sometimes his rug does this thing, the neck attachment, where it goes over his ears, so Casper's there, and honestly he looks like one of those looks like a greyhound or like a whippet dog, where they have like their ears kind of like tucked back, where they look like they have like a really smooth head. He looks like that. He just looks so cute. He looks like someone's hidden his ears. His ears are gone. Or sometimes he has like one ear sticking out and one ear hidden, and I don't know what it is, but maybe it's because he's my horse. Maybe if I saw another horse like that, I wouldn't. No, I think I would find it cute. All horses are cute. What am I going on about? But it is just so adorable. He almost looks a bit angry as well, like somebody's hidden his ears. Like, where have they gone? You can't really, also, because I feel like horses' ears, they really kind of reflect how they're kind of feeling. Like, if their ears are back, obviously they're either angry or they're listening to something behind them, or ears forward, they're like interested, or ears to the side, they're like vibing. Anyway, so I find it's very funny. You can't really tell. I mean, sometimes he does give me a little bit of a side eye. He's like, Mum, please come and fix my ears. I don't like this. But to be fair, sometimes it keeps his ears warm and he does like it. So there we go. But yeah, that's Casper's ears. I've done a whole anecdote on Casper's ears, which is a bit random, but anyway. So, because, oh my gosh, wait, is this week Black Friday week? Oh my gosh, okay. This is like the busiest week of the year for me in my job. Anyway, so we were filming some Black Friday content for Lemure the other day, and when I tell you, I think it was the coldest day of the year. It was so windy, and I feel like nothing is worse than cold wind. Like, it really gets through you. So I was wearing a base layer, and when I had my nice winter coat on, I was fine, and Dad was like, I'm really sorry, Ez, but you're gonna have to take your coat off. When I tell you, that was dedication to the cause, because oh my gosh, I was freezing. Joey was brilliant. He is horse of the week. Actually, that was last week. We filmed that last week. Joey was horse of the week because he was so well behaved, especially as I was like, oh my gosh, Joey, please have your ears forward for the photos, because if not, like, I'm gonna freeze. It's not gonna be good anyway. So luckily he was such a good boy getting all these photos. So if you look really closely in the Lemure Black Friday reel that we did, I have a coat on for some bits, but not all bits, because we needed to show the oak base layer that I was wearing, because they're bringing oak back, which is actually one of my favourite colours. I love greens on any coloured horse, actually. I feel like green is that one colour that suits every coloured horse. So there we go. But tell you what, he did look so nice in that outfit, like the matching boots and everything. He looked very good. It really did suit him, but it was very, very cold. There were quite a few times where I was like, okay, let's get a shot. Okay, we've got the shot. Okay, Esme, wear your coat for a few minutes. Have a little trot around the arena. Have a little canter around. Warm back up again. Okay, get off. Get another photo from a different angle and a different pose. So yeah, that was a lot. But he was very good. And also recently, the horses, I mean, not that this is recently, I've been giving them these for ages, but they have been loving their swingers. So we give them the Silvermore swingers in their stables, especially this time of year when they have to be in a little bit more. Also with fireworks season, having something for them to like look at and play with and eat and distract them is always a good thing. But anyway, so when the tractor got very close to Casper's Field, we did have to get him in and give him his swinger, which he very much enjoyed, having some snackies. But anyway, so we gave them some of those. And Joey, honestly, this boy is so clever. Each time we give him it, he manages to figure it out even quicker than last time. So what we've been doing is we've kind of made like a hybrid of the swinger and like the little net that we kind of put them in. And anyway, so each time we're like, how can we make this more tricky for Joey? Like sometimes we put it higher, sometimes we put it in different places. So if you have any ideas of how I can make like the ultimate swinger for Joey, make it even more difficult, let me know. Because the other day he managed to like get the whole like condensed grass bull swinger out of the bag, and I was like, how on earth have you done this? Like, I got it on camera and everything because I was doing like a little story of me chatting with him, and he just managed to get it out. Like, that boy, give him a Rubik's Cube, because honestly, I don't know how he does it. But on that note, I'm going to finish off today's podcast episode here. Am I allowed to tell them where I'm going on Thursday? I'm going to the Spotify headquarters. I'm very excited. So keep your eyes peeled, or your ears in tune. Is that a thing? No, I don't know. I'll make it up. Keep your ears in tune, everybody. Tune in to your ears. No, keep your eyes out for next week's podcast episode, because I'm going to be talking to you about going to Spotify headquarters. I'm actually really nervous because I don't know any other content creators that do podcasts, I think, that will be there. So I'm going to have to go and make new friends and be brave, but it'll be fine. It'll be good. That's what I'm telling myself. Anyway, so yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to today's episode. Get your Christmas presents in the Black Friday sale at Red Post Equestrian. It's going to carry on over the weekend, limited time only. Be there or be square. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!